and actually chat. And then if you look, there's also a place to mute yourself. I'm going to mute everybody. I'll mute everybody. And what we'll do is when you have a question, you will be able to raise your hand either physically like that. You can just hold it up and I can see and I'll scroll. Or if you hover over your image, you can press the hand raise button. You can press that and it'll raise a hand, a little cartoon figure of a hand for you. So I'll know you have a question. And when I call on you, I'll be able to unmute you, or you may have to unmute on your end, but I'll be able to talk with you that way. So that will be good. And then I want to give you just a moment right now. Grab a pen and a piece of paper, or a pad of paper, even better, or a journal, because I'm going to have you doing some writing so you can get the most out of this. So go ahead and grab that. You're going to definitely want to write some things down. And even though we're going to go deep during this hour, you may want to revisit this later and continue on the questions that I cover with you so you can get the most out of this. Okay? Let me think, make sure I've got no other logistics here. Let me just turn this with speaker. Oh, there's also a way on the top to look at speaker view. And you'll be able to, that way you can focus it on me, or you can look at the whole class, or you can look at yourself, whatever floats your boat, but you can choose that by speaker or a whole class or yourself. All right, ready to get started? Okay. First and foremost, welcome and thank you for taking action and being here. A big thing that determines people that succeed versus don't succeed and stay stuck are taking action. So you guys took an action, you're here. And I wanna first acknowledge you for that, because that is the first step. Thank you for being open-minded. Thank you for being here, being a student, and being interested in creating a better life for yourself. So thank you for doing that, and recognize that, because sometimes we beat ourselves up for not taking a lot of actions or what we think are the right action, but any action in the right direction is a good step. So awesome that you're here doing that. And I also wanted to share that if goals were easy, if it was easy to look younger, feel better, get healthier, lose weight, make more money, have our dream job, if it was easy to do that, we would all have done that already, right? I mean, nod or raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about here. If it was easy, we would have done it already, right? That download would have just worked. That motivational speech we heard would have just worked if it was easy. But there's more to it than that. Things can be simple. It doesn't make them easy. Simple is good, but there is work involved. So if things were just easy, we would already have that. So I just wanted to state that obvious, because I'm not somebody that's going to promise like, this is a quick fix. This is a commitment. This takes work, what I'm going to teach you today. But it's all possible for you if it's something that you really want. It's possible if it's something you really want. So let's get rid of the word easy, and let's get rid of the saying things are hard, because it's not supposed to be easy. It can be simple, but there's always work involved. There's always work involved. And I'm going to ask you to take a hard look in the mirror right now. I'm using mirror as an analogy, but we're going to be writing some things down, because if you were coming to me as a weight loss client, let's put it out there first, I would have to know exactly where you're starting from. And you would have to know where you're starting from. We would have to take measurements. We would get to know your weight, your sizes, what you didn't like about the way you looked. We'd have to have a really hard look of where we're starting from so we know where we want to improve and go. Same thing if your goals are about your finances, for instance. You would have to take a hard look at what do you actually have right now? What are you spending? What are you saving? In order to have an accurate perspective of where you are right now. Same thing with anything you're looking at. We have to know where we're starting from. But so many times with goals, we just say we want to feel better, but we don't actually know where we're starting from, and we're not clear where we want to go. So I want to take you through some exercises first to get really clear on where it is you're actually starting from. Now, for those of you that have not met me before, I'm Natalie Jill. I'm a licensed master sports nutritionist, and I'm a functional fitness trainer, and I kill fat for a living. But I say I kill fat for a living, and I don't necessarily mean just the fat on our bodies, although I can certainly help with that. There's a bigger part of fat, and that's those false assumed truths in your head. Those false assumed truths in your head are what is really holding us back, and that's what I'm going to help you kill today. I'm going to help having a shift on that. Okay, so are you ready for that? Are you excited? Are you excited? Okay, so I'm going to prompt you with some questions. Brooks? I'm going to prompt you with some questions to get you started. And this will be stuff I want you to write down. Now, maybe these will resonate for you. Maybe these will trigger a thought. Maybe these will get you thinking, but these can all be personal to you. I'm going to ask you certain questions and you write them down if it's true to be you. If they're not, if it's just prompting other thoughts in you of where you're starting from, I don't want you to write those down. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so my first question is, are you feeling a little overweight? Are you feeling a little overweight? And be honest. And if you're feeling more than a little overweight, write that down too. Like, what are the words? What do you describe that as? Are you feeling fat? Are you feeling chubby? Get really real. No one's going to see this list except for you. No one's going to see this list, just you. But I want you to get really clear because we're going to be able to shift this during this hour. We're going to start to shift it, but I've got to get really clear of where it is that you're starting from. So how are you feeling about your weight? Are you feeling a little overweight? Are you feeling chubby? Are you feeling fat? Are you feeling maybe disgusting? Is that a word that you would use? Write that down if you are. Do you feel like the ship has sailed? Like it's too late? Write it down if you do. Do you feel the ship has sailed? Do you feel low on energy? Tired? Fatigued? Drained? Write it down. Do you feel like you are exhausted, sick of it, even over it? Just write it down. I'm going to help you shift this, I promise, but it's really critical that we take a look at these questions first so we know where we're starting from. Do you feel that it's too late? And I ask that question because I'm 47 years old and I deal a lot with women in their 40s and 50s. And that's something that comes up a lot. They feel it's too late. They go to when I was younger, or they have all these stories of why it worked before, but it won't work now. So do you feel that it's too late? Write that down if you do. Do you feel like you justify it? Like, do you say things like, I'm 55 and I'm supposed to feel bad? Do you find yourself making excuses? Be honest. Like, do you blame others? Do you justify? Do you say things like, I'm overweight because, and blame something? I'm going to keep saying be honest because I know sometimes we're worried someone else is going to see our feelings or see our thoughts. And I want you to, this is for you. So you be really clear with this. You're not going to share this with me. Just get really clear on what it is that you're feeling right now. This is a big question. Do you feel that you have let yourself go? Do you feel that you are hiding how you really feel? Like, do you feel like you can't actually tell your spouse or your kids or your friends or your grandkids how you really feel? Like, do you feel fake? Like you're pretending and they don't actually know how you feel? Do you live in the past? Do you live in the past? Let me give you some examples. Like when I was 20, I was the hottest girl in college. Or when I was in my early 20s, I was a superstar in my job. Everyone loved me. When I was in high school, I was popular. I was a star soccer player. I was a cheerleader. Or when my business was doing really well, I was awesome. People came to me for advice. Do you compare and live in the past to your accomplishments, what they were then, what you used to look like, what you used to feel like, what you used to be and do? Do you feel like you're hiding the truth? Like you're inauthentic? Have you lost your confidence? What about your motivation? Do you feel unmotivated? Do you feel Unworthy. That's a big word, but do you feel unworthy? Write it down if you do. And then 2 more questions, and then I want you to write down things I'm not asking if it's stuff that you're feeling and I haven't brought it up. But are you unhappy in your relationships? And that can mean anything. It could be a spouse, it could be with your children, it could be with your friends, with your family. But are you unhappy with your relationships? And do you hate your career path or your business? Like maybe that's what it is for you. Now I want you to make a note next to this that just says, I feel. Because if you're gonna revisit this later, this is important. I want you to actually put those words like, I feel this, I feel that. So you can actually feel it and get that in your body so you know where you're starting from. Remember, you're gonna be honest on those. Okay, that was a tough list there. I know that's when I've done that before, and I do this every year, like what am I feeling? Where am I starting from? It's a tough list to swallow sometimes. So I'm gonna have you either turn the page or turn over the page or start a new sheet. But I want something fresh that's not on that same, like the mirror reflection page, because we're gonna go to something that's a lot more fun, okay? And this is where we wanna go. This is the question, where do we wanna go? So my question here is, where do you wanna be and how do you really want to feel? How do you want to feel? Write that down. And I'm gonna, just like I did with the last list, I'm gonna prompt you with a few questions. You can listen to me with the questions, or if you just want to journal how you're feeling, you can write those. But I'll prompt you with some. And this is based on what I've personally dealt with and who the women that I usually talk to, that demographic. So I'm gonna prompt questions that come up from them. So when I say, where do you want to go and how do you want to feel? Things like, do you want to feel confident and relevant again? And I want you, as you write these, to say, I want to feel. So start it with, I want to feel. So do you want to feel confident and relevant again? Write it down if you do. Do you want to feel attractive? And use whatever words you want. Like, do you want to feel hot? Do you want to feel sexy? Beautiful? And stop yourself from judging what you're writing, by the way, because that tends to happen, especially with us women. We want to judge, like, well, that's not possible for me. Like, stop yourself from that. And just, if you could just be any of these things, what do you want to feel? Sexy, hot, attractive, beautiful, pretty? How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel authentic and real, like you can be yourself? Something I wrote a couple years ago is, I want to feel authentic. That's what I wrote. I didn't feel like I was myself. So do you want to feel authentic? Do you want to feel like you are enough? Like you're enough. You don't have to prove anything. You are enough. Do you want to feel worthy? Valued? Do you want to feel like you're an inspiration? Do you want to feel confident? How about, this is a big one for us women, control. Do you want to feel in control of your day? Like you own the day, you feel empowered and in control of your day. And then when you show up for things, how do you want to feel? Like, for instance, when you show up, if you're single and you're dating, do you want to show up? How do you want to feel on that date? Sexy, confident, empowered? A date night with your husband, do you want to feel what? What do you want to feel? Don't go to what you don't want to feel. What do you want to feel? And the next question is, what do you want your day to look like and feel like? Carefree, fun, productive, motivating? What are your words for that? Okay, the next question I'm going to ask you, write the whole question down because you may want to revisit this question later because it's a big one. Pretend it's the best year of your life. What has happened to you? If you were here a year from now on this same Zoom call or standing here in front of me, if you were here with me right now and it's a year from now and this was the best year of your life, you achieved everything you wanted. And this could be financial, it could be your career, it could be your weight, whatever it is, you've achieved what you want. What is that? And I want you to write it like you're talking to me, like this was the best year of my life. I am this. This happened. Just gonna give you a few moments to write that. And then I'm going to open it up before I continue. If there's anybody that would like to share, I would love that. And let me just state, I'm going to get into how to make these come to fruition. And part of it is going to be declaring it. So if you feel scared to share it, you probably should share it because it's going to help you overcome this. So just raise your hand if you're open to sharing it. And I'm going to call on one or two of you if you're open to it. You can raise your hand physically or with the little cartoon. I'm just scrolling through. Let's see. I see people kind of thinking they might want to share, but not so sure yet. I'll give you some other chance. Let me just scroll through one more time. Oh, Chrissy. Yay. Hi, Chrissy. I might need you to unmute it on your end. I'm trying to unmute it. There you go.
How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good.
You want to share? If it's a year from now, who you are and what's happened?
That I am the happiest I've ever been, that all my relationships are strong, that I've fulfilled all my weight loss goals.
And what does that look like if you fulfill all your weight loss goals? What are you? What size are you? What's your weight? What do you feel like?
I am size 14, size 16 right now.
Well, what are you a year from now?
What?
What are you a year from now?
Oh, right now I would be down to a size 4, size 6.
Okay, so say it to me like it's happened. Like it's a year from now, and Natalie, I did everything. I went inside out. I did everything, and I'm a size. Say it.
I did everything that I was supposed to do. I followed all the meal plans, went all my fitness goals, and now I am a size 4, size 6.
How does it feel?
I feel awesome.
Okay, so thank you, Chrissy. So let me ask you, just tell me, I know it feels a little funny you're talking to this group you don't know yet, but how does that feel to like say it like it's happened?
Would love for it to be true.
Yeah, I would love for it to be true. You know, it's funny about things, we don't usually share what it is that we want, you know, but when we say it, we can actually get it in our bodies and start to become it. So thank you for sharing. Okay, so then the next question I have for all of you is to ask yourself, and write this down because you're going to want to revisit this, but why do you want it? Why do you want it? Now, I call this a driving core motivator because the first answer people usually give is not the true reason why. It's not the true reason why. So if I ask you why you want something, usually your answer is going to be something that you think you're supposed to say or that you said before, but it's really not your true motivating reason why. But if we can go 10 levels deep on it, like go 10 levels deep on that why, we can truly get to what that driving core motivator is. And that's going to be part of your secret weapon. I'm going to give you some secret weapons today, but it's going to be part of it. But going 10 levels deep means really getting to the root of what's holding you back for wanting that. So I would love, if one of you are open to it, this is really powerful if you're open to the coaching, to be a volunteer. I want to help you figure out your driving core motivator right now. Does any volunteer raise your hand? If not, I'll do a generic one. Let's see, I'm just scrolling. Let's see. I got a quiet group today. Let's see. Okay, I don't see any hands up. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a generic, you can do this yourself, but the key is 10 levels deep on your why. So an example would be somebody comes to me and they say, I wanna lose weight. I say, great, why do you wanna lose weight? And they're gonna say, well, I wanna be happy. That's what I hear all the time. I want to be happy. Okay. Why do you want to be happy? Well, because I'm not happy now. I'm depressed. Okay. Why are you depressed? Well, every morning when I get up, I don't like what I see in the mirror, and I go into my closet and I get depressed. Why do you get depressed? Because nothing in my closet fits right. The stuff that does fit looks like a moo-moo. I feel frumpy, and I don't like it. Okay, and what happens when you feel frumpy and you don't like anything in your closet? Well, then I go to work in a bad mood, and I become sort of introverted. I don't want to talk to people, because I don't feel good about myself. Okay, and what happens when you don't talk to people when you're feeling introverted? Well, then I feel sort of lonely, and I stop being social, and I feel like I'm hiding. Okay, and what happens when that happens? Well, I get sad, and it makes me not understand my purpose. And I feel like I'm just not really living life. I'm just kind of existing. Okay, that's one example here, how I just went deep. So in that case, the driving core motivator for that person will be that they want to feel connected. They want to feel social, and they want to feel social, really. They said they were not liking how they got introverted. So they came with one thing. They just wanted to feel happy. They just want to lose weight. But what they really want is to feel social. And this is key. And this is important to do it as your own process to figure out what that driving core motivator is, because that's that thing that helps get you committed to your goal when you're really clear on what that driving core motivator is. Without that driving core motivator, then temptation comes up. We fall off track. We go back to our feelings of like, I just want to be comfortable. We don't make a change if we don't have that driving core motivator. When you have that driving core motivator, it's super powerful. It's super powerful. Whenever someone says, I just want to lose weight, I know there's a deeper reason. I know there's a deeper reason. And getting to that driving core motivator is key. Now, your driving core motivator will change over the years. It will change. It can change all the time. But it's important to always know, what is that driving core motivator? Okay, I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Driving core motivator was one step in that. After you know what it is that you want, I want you to recognize that right now, who you are right now today is who you are on that first piece of paper you started. That's who you are right now. Whether we see you as that or not, whether I look at you and agree with those statements, that is who you are, because that's who you believe you are. That is who you believe you are right now. Right or wrong, it's who you are right now. It's who you were 20 years ago doesn't matter. Who you wrote down on that paper today first, that's who you are right now. And I want you to realize that your best thinking, your best practice, and your best thinking got you to right there. We have to own that first, because your best thinking, everything you've done up until this point, got you to that point right there. And the truth of the matter is, most of you know how to actually hit your goal, but something's in the gap, right? It's not happening that easy. Like if one of you, I'm sure a couple of you probably said weight loss was your thing. Like you don't like that you've let yourself go. You want to be thinner. You want to feel all that. You know deep down, if I just ate chicken and broccoli, I could get lean. I mean, we know this, right? But it's not that easy. So your best thinking, your best practices got you to right here. And that's not good enough. It's not fair to you, and it's not good enough. So I've worked with enough people and worked on myself enough times to know that there's some common things that get to happen to make you have a lasting transformation. And it's not the stuff you already know. It's shifting your thinking. And I want to show you something. First of all, for some of you know my story, some of you don't. I'm going to show you me, and I'm going to show you some clients just to give you some framework. So some people look at me and they think, oh, you're 47. You just were always fit. You were always this, whatever. And what they don't know is that's not true. So this is me, for those of you who don't know. And now, granted, I did just have a baby here, so I'm going to put that disclaimer out. But I'm 5'2". This was me right after I had my daughter, Penelope. She's 11 now, so this is dated. So I had to explain it when I show the picture. Okay, but this was me. Now, I gained 60 pounds more than I am today when I was pregnant with her. So that's not hormones, by the way. She weighed 6 pounds. So when she came out and I asked the doctor if the placenta weighed 50 pounds, he laughed at me. Right? She was 6 pounds. I had gained a lot of weight. And I did it because I was depressed. I was in a rough time in my marriage. I was going through a divorce. The financial market had crashed. Many of you remember back in 2008, 2009, what was happening in the financial market, especially in the States here. I was losing everything. I was not the person I once was, and I felt really lost, disturbed, depressed, everything, you name it. And I didn't recognize myself in my own skin. And I was really going down this story of, this is what happens. You have a baby, you gain weight, you get older, this is what happens. I was about 36 years old here, okay? And that's what I thought. That's what I believed. And I thought I had tried everything, nothing's working. I had all the reasons and excuses. But when I shifted my mindset and what I'm gonna teach you today, everything started to change. And what the power behind it was what I believed was possible. What I believed was possible was starting to change. Now, I wanna share, I see people usually come to me for weight loss first. That's how people know me. And they quickly realize I'm so much more than that. Like I'm not about just giving you a diet plan and a workout. I can, but I know that that does not work long term. So I just want to give you examples before I dive into some of these tips of why this works. So first of all, this is my friend Nicole. This is when I met Nicole. Can you guys see that? This girl said probably most of the things that you wrote on that first piece of paper. And she had a lot of people validating those excuses. She was saying, I'm big boned, I've got a thyroid issue, I've got hormone issues, I've tried everything. This was what she was saying to me. This is Nicole now. Do you see her? Gorgeous, right? Nobody would think she's big boned anymore. That was her, this is her. What changed was not just a diet. What changed is these tools I'm about to teach you. Another one, this is Terry. Love Terry. This is when I met Terry. This was her. Same thing. She hated the way that she looked and felt. She felt super unattractive. That's not who she wanted to be. This is who she was. She didn't want to be that. We shifted things. This is her now. This is her now. Show you one more. This is Karen when I met her, right there. She was approaching 50, unhappy in a lot of areas. This is Karen now. She's changed her whole life based on these things. You guys ready to know what these things are? Okay. Okay, so how do we get there? How do we get there? Well, first you recognize where you're starting from, which is what you did. You wrote that down. You're gonna go deeper into that later. And you also recognize on that the problem will get worse if you don't address this. You've got to recognize it's gonna get worse if you don't address it. The problem will get worse because we do get older. Time does go by. And eventually those questions I ask, like, is it too late? It will be too late one day. The ship does sail eventually. It will be too late. And you'll just continue to find more people to validate your excuses. So if you don't do something about it, the problem will get worse. So that's a guarantee. However, we're gonna completely start to change your thinking here because in 2 words, the 2 things that you get to change this year to be an entirely different person a year from today, these 2 words will make you an entirely different person a year from today. Thoughts and actions. Write them down, thoughts and actions. If you start thinking different thoughts and you start taking different actions, you can be an entirely different person a year from today. If you continue having the same thoughts and you take those same actions, you're gonna be the same person. You're gonna be the same person. Okay? How do we shift this? Because if it's easy to change our thoughts and actions, just like I said at the beginning of this class, we could all just do it, right? I'm gonna have different thoughts and different actions today. It's not that easy. So that's the spoiler alert. It's not that easy. It can be done, it's not that easy. So I'm gonna give you the steps to start to make this a reality. Are you ready? Okay, number one, you have to decide. You have to make a decision, write the word decide down. You're making a decision today, line in the sand, it's happening, decision today. I am going to be that person I wrote on that second page. Decide it. It's as easy as that. And stop your brain from going to the how. Because I know your brains are doing that right now. I'm tricky. I know that. You're going, but I can't, but I've tried everything. Stop it. Just decide. I don't know how it's happening, but it's happening. I'm going to be this. Make a decision. I did this same exercise at my breakthrough weekend with Terry and Nicole at this point. Okay, so it is possible, but they had it, I made them decide. Nicole stood on the top of a mountain with us, because we made declarations at breakthrough weekend. She stood on top mountain and she said, a year from now, I'm gonna be in a yellow polka dot bikini, feeling confident, looking great. And she was embarrassed saying it, and then we made her say it until she felt it in her body and she was confident. And she's that now. She is that, but she made a decision. So that's number one. You've got to make a decision and decide. It is happening. Number two, you get to declare it. What does that mean? Well, if we decide something, but we don't share it with anybody, then we're giving ourselves an out. We're not accountable. It may not happen. So we get to make a decision that we're declaring it too. What does that mean? Well, I'll show you when I declared it here. I went on my Facebook. Now at the time I didn't have 2 million Facebook followers. I had 100 high school friends, but I declared it. I said, I'm sick of this. I'm going somewhere else. And I declared it. I said, I'm going to be journaling my food, my workouts, everything. I'm declaring it. This is happening. I made it public. I decided a couple weeks ago, I say I'm going to declare it again with you guys right now. I decided a couple weeks ago that I was tired of looking at people on Instagram doing the splits, and I was going to learn to do the split dagnabbit, even though I was the most inflexible person. So not only did I decide this, I declared it to a group of people in my house. I told friends, I put it on Instagram, I did it on Facebook Live. I told like the world, I'm going to learn to do the splits. And I gave a time frame on it, which meant I get to practice the splits every day. Now I'm not close yet. I don't know how I'm getting there, but I'm practicing them every single day, dagnabbit. Had I not declared it, I don't think I would have practiced every day. I certainly wouldn't feel like practicing every day, and I certainly wouldn't continue. But when you declare something, you've got to do it. You've got to show up, right? So number two is you get to declare it. Number three, that driving core motivator exercise I just took you through. You get to figure out what your driving core motivator is for your big goal. If it's weight loss, if it's better relationships, if it's more money, if it's a career you're passionate about, whatever that is, you get to figure out what is the driving core motivator behind it. It's not just I want to be happy. It's figuring out what that is and getting help figuring out what it is if you need that. But what is that driving core motivator? Why do you actually want that? Get really clear on that. Number four, and I apologize if you've heard me tell this story a million times, but I have to share this analogy because this works. This is the only way to explain it. So if you don't know what your vision is, if you're not crystal clear on your vision, it's impossible to get there. So I'm going to give you this analogy that I've shared many times on Facebook Live and on my classes before. If you get in a car right now, we all went and got in our cars, and I said, just drive. Where would you end up? Who knows? What do you feel like it? What's the weather there? Is it snowing out? Is it raining? Is it sunny? Who's with you? Where do you want to go? What do you feel like right now? Some of you end up down the street. Some of you might end up across the country. Some of you might end up in a park. Who knows? You would do it based on what you feel like, right? And based on traffic and circumstances and how much gas is in your car and how much time you have. That's because you wouldn't have a vision of where you're going. Now, if we take that same example and you got in a car and I said, okay, we're all going to get in our car and we're all meeting in New York City. Even if you're watching me from England, we're all meeting in New York City. We didn't know how you were getting there, but we're all meeting in New York City. What would happen? If we were all super clear we were going to meet in New York City, your dream person's waiting in New York City, what would happen? Well, some of you might drive to the airport and fly there. Some might go to the train station and take a train there. Some might go and get on a boat and get there. Some might turn on their navigation in their car and get there. Some might pull out their cell phone and the Waze app and figure out how to get there. Some might get out and ask their boyfriend or their husband or their friend to drive them there. We'd all get there. It wouldn't matter how, right? We would all get there because we'd have a very clear vision. So if we know that, why don't we do that in our lives? Why do we just say, I want to be happy without knowing where the heck it is we're going? Like, I don't know where you want to go, I can't help you get there. And you certainly can't get there if you don't know where you want to go. So vision is super critical, and getting really descriptive and clear on what that vision is and where it is that you want to go. So you're so laser clear on it that it doesn't matter how you're getting there, you know you're getting there. When I was this girl and I wanted to shift, the very first thing I had to do after deciding and declaring and those steps I took you through is I had to physically make a vision board, like so I could look at something. And I put fit girls on there and happy couples and positive things. And I remember looking at that vision board every day and saying, okay, I don't feel like that now, but daggone it, I'm going to stare at this vision board every single day and I'm going to pretend like I'm living inside it. And if I live inside that vision board and I do what those people do, I have to shift and change because I'll have different thoughts and actions. So I start to be able to make these amazing changes because of that, because I've created a vision and I know where I want to go. Next, put yourself in experiences. Put yourself in experiences so you remember how it feels to go where you want to go. Let me give you an example. If you could, right now, I'm going to use the goal like you want to be in your best, most confident body. I'm going to just say that. That's one of your vision. And you're really clear on what this feels like. And you're envisioning yourself on the beach in a bikini with some hot waiter serving you nice drinks. I don't know, whatever that vision is. Brooks is raising his hand saying maybe we're visioning him serving hot drinks. Think nice, babe. Well, maybe. But you get really clear on what it is that you want. If you could literally put yourself in a situation where you feel like that right now, if you put yourself in a place right now that you can feel those things, you're much more likely to make those happen because you'll have a reference point of what it feels like to be there. So we're going to think through, like, how can I put myself in situations so it sticks with me, so I remember. And you all of you have been to like a seminar or a workshop or a really cool vacation where it's stuck a lot more than listening to a podcast or listening to a motivational speech or reading something, because you actually were there. You remember who was sitting next to you, you remember who was with you, remember who was talking to you, and you remember that whole experience because you were actually there. So we get to put ourselves in experiences that are going to bring that up. The next one, got two more for you, and then I'm going to have another topic for you. The next one is small steps forward every day. Now, Tony Robbins, who I won't argue, he's an amazing motivational speaker. He talks about taking massive action, and a million motivational speakers talk about taking massive action. Great, yes, we all agree. You take massive action, you get results. However, there's a problem with massive action. If you think you have to do all this stuff to make something happen, we get frozen and we don't start. How many of you know that story? Like, I know what I've got to do, it's just too much. I don't even know where to start. I've been there for sure. So what I'm going to suggest is, instead of taking massive action, what are small steps, one step forward every single day that you can take that's going to get you closer to your goal? Because little steps over time add up to big, huge results. Little steps over time make big results. But we get so stuck on massive action that we don't even start. So what I'm sharing is we're going to take one step at a time, baby steps, figure out the how as we go. As my husband always says, build the airplane as you're flying it. One step at a time. The next is make sure you have a good coach or a mentor. And I'm going to speak into that a little bit. A coach and a mentor is an investment in yourself. It's not an investment in them, it's an investment in yourself. And let me just tell you what makes a good coach, which makes a bad coach. A good coach sees you in your highest possibility. They see you in your greatness, and they don't take your stories. They do not take your stories. Somebody that takes your stories is a weak friend. We don't need more people to validate excuses in our lives. We have enough of them. They're everywhere. They're in the media, they're on the streets, they're everywhere. We have plenty of people to validate excuse. If you're investing in a coach or in yourself with a coach, you want to make sure that it's somebody that's going to lift you up into your highest power. They're going to see you on your highest possibility. They're going to speak to that person, and they're not going to validate excuses. I'll share that my slogan is, excuses or solutions, you decide. That offends some people, and that's fine. I'm totally fine with it offending some people. That's good. That means I hit something, because I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to create people that want to level up and create greatness and achieve higher possibility for themselves. I am selling out on somebody if I validate their excuses, period. I can have compassion. I can feel where they're starting from and what they're coming from. But if I settle for letting you enroll me in what's not working and why it's not working, I'm not helping you lift yourself up. So when you're looking for a coach or a mentor, whether it's one you're investing in, or it's a free thing you're finding online, listening to podcasts, which, by the way, if you don't know, I have a podcast, so that's totally free. Make sure you're listening to that, because I do a lot of interviews with people that are living in this higher possibility all the time. It's called Leveling Up, Creating Everything from Nothing. But whether you're mentors and coaches, whether you're investing in those or you are learning it, taking it in, make sure you are learning from people that are seeing you in your higher possibility, not validating excuses. You know, whenever something's not wrong with us or we don't feel good, we go to Google, like finding something. I do it too. I definitely do it too. I'm owning it. We go to Google and we start looking for, you know, whatever's wrong with us. And we find this like misery of, it's that misery loves company. Like, I'm going to find other people validating what's wrong with me right now. Great. All that does is make us feel better in the moment. That does not challenge us. It does not speak to our greatness. It does not level us up. So don't waste your time with that. Find people that are doing it. Okay, here's what's going to happen right now. And I'm going to share. I'm going to open up to questions. And I'm going to tell you this real quick. I'm going to open it to questions, and I'm going to share an opportunity to come spend some time in San Diego with me and Brooks in California. But I wanted to let you know that was going to happen right now. So right now, what I wanted to let you know is, if you want to jump off, if like you feel like you got a lot from this call and you're good and you want to just start applying it, you've got the tools, so you can go. And I'm not offended. I still love you if I see people dropping off. I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to shift into that topic. So you are more than welcome to stay on and listen and ask questions, or you can just jump off and thanks for joining me. Okay. So no hard feelings if you jump off. Okay, if you have a question, I'm going to have you either write it in the chat or hold it for just a moment, but I'm going to absolutely be taking as many questions as you have. So I'll open it up for that, and it can be on anything we've covered. It can be on what I'm about to talk about. It could be on your own personal nutrition, fitness goals. I'm here to coach you right now. But I want to share an opportunity. I'm going to bring Brooks on in just a second. One of my favorite things that I do, there's two favorite things I do in my business. Two favorite things. Number one, record my podcast. I love my podcast. Love doing that. The second thing I absolutely love to do are my breakthrough experiences, where I have small groups of women come here physically with me in San Diego. They hang out with me in my home, me and Brooks, a group of small group of women. We go deep into those things that I just shared with you, where we uncover their vision, their goals, what they want to create in their life. And we make it an experience. So what happens, some of these women, actually all of these women I pulled out and showed you and more here, they all came to a breakthrough experience. Terry did, Nicole did. This is where the shift happened for them. Karen did, she was at a breakthrough experience. Susanna's a grandma, I didn't show you her yet. This was her driving core motivator. She came to a breakthrough experience. Amanda, another one, dermatologist here. She came to a breakthrough experience. Massive transformations from these. In fact, I love this picture. This is Terry's jean sizes she recorded as they were shrinking down. It was so cool. I do these in small groups of women. I've never had more than 16, and I think that's even too much. I'm doing 2 breakthrough experiences this year only, and I'm having only 10 women at each. Only 10 women at each. You literally are going to be in my home with me. We're going to go deep into these exercises. I'm going to have a fabulous chef come cooking for us. We're going to have amazing healthy meals. We're going to work out and eat well together, but it's more than that. We're going to go deeper into what's holding you back, and we're going to create experiences to shift you. And we're going to have the right people with you, the right coaches and the right people all working on their goals, so that we can break through this and have the most amazing 2019 together. So this is not just weight loss and nutrition. There is an emphasis on it because that's what a lot of the goals are. But we do really help you with whatever it is that you want to create, whether that's more income, business, whatever. If you are at all interested, please apply. And Brooks, will you come over here? I'm going to have you talk to him for a minute. He's going to explain a little bit more about what happens when you apply, and what happens if we accept you, because he's the one that has been handling all the applications coming in, and I want to make sure, whoops, it's not coming up. There we go. Oh, hang on a second. Let me get that out of there. Liana, if you don't mind, can you type on the, it's not letting me type to all, just the application, the apply thing. Thank you. This is my husband, Brooks.
I'm working on my splits so that I can.
Here, come sit and talk to them.
How's everybody doing?
You want to switch it over to class so you can see them?
I'm going to switch to class so I can see everybody.
Yeah.
I see smiling faces. So what do you mean share?
What happens with group coaching? What happens when they apply? What are you looking for?
So basically, even if you're not sure, just fill out an application. And I'm sure that little voice in your head will be like, don't do it, or you're not good enough, I don't want to do this. Or because it's funny, because I've been calling people at random, and it's kind of funny the response I get from a lot of people, like they're shocked that I've called them. And again, it's just that deeper worthiness conversation, or but they've actually been really grateful. So I also get a chance to connect and really see, what's under the surface. Because I'm coaching a group of 10 women right now, and it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you. And it's really getting to the bottom, getting to that deep place. Because, a lot of the motivational, all this stuff sounds great, but from personal experience, like it doesn't do anything. Like I personally, like mindset stuff, it's belief set. And it's getting to the bottom. What's that story? What's that pattern? What's that negative feedback loop that's occurring in your life? What's that voice saying in your head to you 1,000 times a day? And it's been saying it for days, weeks, months, years, and probably decades, because I know it was for me. And so, and it's not just woo-woo, because I used to, if you couldn't prove it, I wanted nothing to do with it. But now, like you look at our iPhone, the fact that we're doing this live video right now with people all over, that used to take like 2 semi trucks to be able to project video, but we can do that now. So like technology's gotten smaller. They can look into the brain now and actually see new neural pathways being created. We can see creating new synaptic connections, breaking old ones. So it's like if we did, incorrect arm curls for 30 years, a trainer's like, hey, your form's wrong, we need to fix it. The first day that you do it, it's not going to undo the 30 years. It's not going to take 30 years to fix it. But, a couple weeks of doing it correctly, those muscles are going to get stronger. And those ones that you kind of built awkward will start to atrophy. The same type of thing with those neural pathways in the brain. So there's a science behind this. We really we go deep, we get to the bottom so that we can, figure out what's that story. Where did I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I have to keep putting everybody else first. Where did these patterns start, so we can go back to the root cause, get that changed, and build new neural pathways so that we can, continue on and live into our potential and live the life that we are meant to live.
So not only if you come to Breakthrough Experience, you get to hang out with us, and we're actually pretty fun. And get to hang out with us, but you would be part of a small group coaching program with both of us, mostly Brooks though, because he goes deep with you, but both of us are going to be there going through a coaching program with us. And we also get you started right away. So if you haven't done my full body reset, we give you access to that right away. So if you're at all interested, if you go to the sheet and apply, we've got the dates and the price on there so you can see what that is. Apply if you're at all interested, just so we have your applications. We're really good about pairing the right groups together. And if you can't make those dates for whatever reason, still apply and mark there that you can't make those dates, just so we know who you are and what you're interested in.
Yeah, that way on the radar. Like I'm doing a small group right now with just 10 women as a small group coaching. So it was kind of a one-off thing, but so at least be on the radar, get an application in. So even if the breakthrough dates don't work, there's a possibility there could be some other stuff in the future, but at least, there's that awareness and you're in there.
And we only have 20 spots total this year for Breakthrough. Yeah. So 10 at each is all we're doing this year.
Because I definitely like to keep it small and intimate.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. I'm going to take some questions. Let's see. It says any USA. So if you can hear us, I've got you unmuted, or you might have to unmute yourself if you still have a question. I don't see name. It just says in any USA. There she is. Hi.
Yeah, I don't have a question. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Let's see. Okay. Go ahead and Let me take some other questions. Let's see. Any questions on anything, whether it's breakthrough or what I covered earlier, you want some coaching through those topics, nutrition, fitness, anything is okay right now while you've got us. Ask away. Let's see. No questions. Okay. Oh, well, that's a first. I don't think we've ever done it with absolutely no questions.
It's all good.
We just were very thorough today.
There's questions, just that voice is going, I don't want to raise my hand. I don't want to be
Come on. Hi.
Hey, how do we know if we're a good fit for the weekend? Like if our voice is saying, oh, I'm not worthy, or like, all of my stuff always comes up in this moment. So maybe you could coach into that, you or Brooks.
Thank you. Thank you, Jess. I appreciate that. Yes, great question. So if you have that voice, 100% apply. Like you definitely were talking to you, apply, because we're going to look, and the more detailed you are on that application, the application just stays with us. Only us read that, just so you know. That way we can be really clear on what is it you're looking for.
Yeah, it's pretty simple and straightforward. So it's not this really crazy long application, and it just gives you a chance, because that's the way the ego and the subconscious works. That's what keeps you in the pattern, because that's what's safe and comfortable. So it's designed to keep you safe, but in keeping you safe, it's actually holding you back from everything that you're logically saying that you want. Because the brain is amazing. It's an amazing search engine. The problem is it only goes to the past. So when it goes to search the past, all it's doing is hunting for the evidence for whatever it is. So we've been telling ourselves like, hey, for years, like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Hey, I want to do this thing. The brain goes, well, let me check. So it goes back and it starts looking over the last 20 years. It goes, yep, here's another time you said you weren't good enough. You were right. Yep, you're not good enough. And so it goes, yep, you should definitely not apply. But logically, you're like, I know that I need this, but that's what the ego and the subconscious does. That's why we see yo-yo dieting. That's why we see, we've all had those friends that, they've dated 8 of the same wrong guy. They might have looked different heights, all the other stuff. They were the same person. They're repeating a pattern. The brain, that's the way the brain's designed. It's designed to survive, not to thrive. And so you have to do things differently if you want to change the way, your weight loss is going, your relationships are going, your life is going. You have to make those changes. So that's the big is awareness, is knowing that. And that's all the stuff that we'll go to in the breakthrough weekend, and then in the small group coaching, tools for ways to manage that voice. And we all know that voice because it's probably humming in the background right now. That voice will be with us until the day that, we go 6 feet under. And so there's no way to make it go away. It's learning how to manage it. And it can actually be, be a good friend as well.
Thank you. I want to show you guys in the spirit of authenticity. I changed my sweater for you guys so I would look like presentable, but I want you to see that I have pajama bottoms on. See, nobody sees this stuff. I'm going to show you, by the way. You can show my slip. This is what I look like on the bottom. I just thought I'd share as the camera went down a few times. I wanted to share that with you. I was going to show you Flops down here too, but he moved to the door. Any more questions, you guys? No more questions? Awesome. All right, well, if you're at all thinking about it, make sure you apply, nataliesfitness.com/apply. We did record this, so we will be sending it back out the same place you registered, so you can replay this. And I encourage you to go back and rework that stuff that we talked about earlier. You can go, I went fast on that. I know it was a lot of information, but the deeper you go on that, the more you'll have those breakthroughs and those results. If you're at all thinking about applying, please do. You can write whatever you want on there, and then we will both be reviewing that. And thanks for joining me, you guys. Thank you. I hope you found this helpful today. Bye.